Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I'm Holly. Hi, how are you? If you are not so new here and you're a returning subscriber, thank you. Thank you for returning. Either way, you've stumbled across True Crime Tuesdays, whether it be for the first time or numerous times. Today's video is about a young lady called Vanessa Guillen. Again, I'm sorry if I pronounce these things wrong. I'm sure it's Guillen, Guillen. So Vanessa was born on the 30th of September 1999, and she is a beautiful girl. She grew up to be a beautiful young lady, and she always had it in her heart that she wanted to fight and protect a nation, basically, which is what an empowering woman would want to do, right? She'd volunteer for things and all this. She's like the epitome of inspirational woman, which is great. Sounds like a good role model to follow. She always wanted to fight for a nation and protect it, basically. And obviously her mother was a little bit like, well, maybe you should do something different. But she was adamant. She was adamant that she wanted to go into the US military. So she did. When she graduated in 2018, she joined the military and she got herself a job in weapons maintenance. Guys, that job sounds amazing. It's dangerous as heck, right? But it sounds amazing. I was in the Air Cadets over here in the UK, which is basically what kids do. They go and join this group, and and I fired some guns and stuff, so yeah, it was one of my most favourite things to do over there. But anyway, back to Vanessa. So that's what she did. She went and did this job and she loved it, and she would speak to her family every single day, and she would phone them, she would ring them, she would text them, and this was normal. So she'd ring her two sisters, she'd ring her mother. So yeah, she'd ring them every single day, and this would happen. And she used to be quite happy-go-bubbly kind of girl, up until she got moved to a place called Fort Hood. And this is when the family started noticing a change in her. She became quite withdrawn. She didn't really want to speak to anybody, or she just wasn't the bubbly person that she used to be. Which is sad, because I know quite a lot of bubbly people who after time lose their bubbliness and whatnot, and it's sad to see, really. But yeah, so she lost this bubbliness, and the family thought, oh, well, why is this happening? Is she okay? Is she poorly? But she wouldn't really say much about it. She did admit that she did not like it there. So what she did, she says, but it's alright, I'll just keep doing it, and then I'll just keep working here, I'll not say anything. And then I might get transferred quicker if I just keep my head down. Which is mainly the only thing that you can do in most jobs, isn't it? If you've got a problem, keep your head down. Unless it's a major problem, which we will get onto in a minute. This brings us all the way to April the 22nd of this year, guys. This year. So what month is it now? August, April, May, June, July, August. 4 months ago. In the midst of a pandemic, right? 4 months ago this happened. She went missing. Vanessa went missing. She wasn't answering her phone calls to her family. She wasn't replying to text messages. When they phoned her, her phone was off, which was very strange for her, because she always had a phone on. So they thought it was quite weird, which you would if you heard from your daughter every single day, right? But they thought, well, maybe she's just a little bit busy being in the military and stuff. She probably got a workload on. This is until they found out, because they weren't truly concerned. They were a little bit like, oh, that's a bit strange. But they would be majorly concerned when they heard that she didn't turn up for a shift at 10 a.m. So what what did they do? They started making like Facebook groups and flyers and handing them out to people and trying to figure out where she could have gone. The military started getting involved as well, and when they went to her barracks or her room, I don't know, they're usually called barracks, I don't know if they are in the US, went to her barracks and found her key, her personal ID, her wallet or her purse if you're in the UK, and her military ID. And your military ID, if you're living on a military base, is your key to everything. You can't walk around a military base without this ID because it gives you access to all the places you need to go. So they were all in her room. The only thing that wasn't there was her phone. So strange, right? So this spurred on a massive search for Vanessa. Hundreds and hundreds of soldiers were searching for her. Family was searching for her. Vanessa's sister was rallying, basically. She was working her hardest. She was working her hardest to get people to look for her sister, because it wasn't like her to be not where she's meant to be, basically. The commander of the I'd imagine that is the commander of Fort Hood. That's a strange name. Got involved, and they offered a $50,000 reward to anybody who could give the information that led to the whereabouts of Vanessa. $50,000. So gradually, as this investigation was going on, rumours started to come out of nowhere. Not really out of nowhere, but they started to surface, and these were rumours of harassment, that Vanessa was being harassed by her seniors, basically. But there was never any reports of Vanessa reporting it to anybody, and her family said that she had admitted that she had been assaulted and harassed, and her mum tried to get her to report it, but she wouldn't report it. And she said because she knew what happened to other women in the military, that she'd seen it happen, that they end up being chastised about it, even though they were the ones that were being abused. And so she said, again, this is when she said, I'll just deal with it, and hopefully I'll get transferred somewhere. And she just kept her head down. If they'd seen Vanessa at all on the day that she went missing, and somebody said, or if they'd noticed something that was suspicious, and somebody mentioned that they had seen a man called Erin, who Vanessa worked with, coming out of the armoury with a massive box, a plastic tub basically, and dragging this tub along and taking it to his car. More and more people came through saying that they had seen this, and a week later the US Marshals went and basically questioned Erin, who said he was with his girlfriend all night and that they can go and check this. He's got an alibi, she'll vouch for him basically, and his girlfriend did. Said, oh yeah, he was with me all night. There's no way that he's got anything to do with this. He was with me all night. No, you little fibber. This was not true, guys. This really was not true. They didn't really question it after that. But because his name was being brought up more and more often, well, they went and questioned him a second time. And this time they said, can we look at your phone just so we can clarify this story? So he said, yeah, alright. Big mistake, buddy. Big mistake. There was numerous phone calls to his girlfriend, whose name is Cicely, by the way. Numerous phone calls to Cicely. And they weren't just like, they weren't, because she said, basically, right, okay. she said that the reason why he called her phone so much was because she'd lost her phone, right? She'd lost her phone, and he was ringing it to see if they could hear it ringing, if you get me. If you've done that, right? No? Yeah? I've done it numerous times because I'm always... Anyway, so yeah, that's what she said that the phone calls were for. But these phone calls, right, were like 45 to a minute long. So they might just be ringing her. If you just ring somebody and it doesn't connect, it says that the call time's 0, but the call time on these phone calls was 45 seconds to a minute long. So if you're with her all night, why are you speaking on the damn phone to her? Suspicious. Also, because they found this out, they decided, well, we're gonna look into this more, and they found out that when he was making these phone calls, the phone call pinged to a cell phone tower or a mobile phone tower, and it was over by a river, nowhere near his girlfriend's house, flat, whatever they lived in. It wasn't near them. So your man's a liar. So they were like, well, let's go and investigate this river. Also, let's go and ask the girlfriend why she said that he was with him when he was at a river. And she said, oh, when I'm going through stuff, we sometimes go for a walk down by the river. So that's why. So the police thought, you little sneaky biznitches. So they went down to the river. They could smell something. They could smell burnt plastic, basically, and something else. That wasn't the scent of the river, but they couldn't find anything. And to me, personally, I don't think they looked hard enough, if I'm honest. US military, marshals, whatever they are, need to start looking better. Because on June the 30th, over a week after these investigators had been to the river, a couple of guys were building a fence or something. It's unclear what they were actually doing, but they were fixing something down there. And they discovered 3 holes. And in these 3 holes were what looked like human remains. So they phoned the police, and the police came, and they scooped up the remains. Not scooped up, not in such a manner that it was dangerous or detrimental to the investigation, but they scooped them up, took them away, and they went to what's his face? Your man who lies, Erin. They went to him and said, dude, there's a situation with this COVID-19, you need to stay in your barracks. And they put a 24-hour watch on him, basically, meaning that he couldn't leave. Couldn't is the wrong word, meaning that he shouldn't leave. And then the investigators shot over to Sicily, the girl, not the place, and was like, well, this is not confirmed, this is just what I imagine they would be like, yo lady, we know what happened, so do you want to tell us what happened or what? So basically she was like, oh shoot, they actually know what happened. So she came clean, and she was like, well Erin picked me up from the gas station where I work when I finished work, and he drove to the river, and he told me that he wanted to show me something, because he was acting strange as heck, and so he showed me this, and I saw Vanessa's body in this plastic tub, and well, I just decided that I'm going to help him because I love him. Girl. So she said that they tried to burn Vanessa to start with, but it was making too much smoke and too much smelly stuff. So they figured out a different way to, discard of her. Don't want to say too much because YouTube rules, So to make it easier to scatter her into these 3 holes, basically. And so yeah, and then they went off, got some cement. They got some cement and covered the holes so that that the bones would stay down, basically. So not only is she an accessory to this girl's murder, even though she didn't commit the murder, but who knows really. But she lied. She a liar. She shouldn't have lied. Guys, if you ever find yourself in this situation, I pray to God that you don't. What you want to be doing is going straight to the police and be like, yo, this dude's crazy. Don't even touch the body. If you fear for your life, man, just be like, oh no, I feel sick. You do it. And then just try and get the hell out of there. The police will like, wow. Will you do a wired phone call to Erin so that we can hear a confession or hear what he's got to say about it? So she did. And they heard what he had to say. And then he refused a lie detector test. And anyway, I think the lie detector test was quite early on in the investigation, but the investigators went from Cicely's house and went to Erin and saw him walking down the road. And they stopped and they're like, yeah, you're not supposed to be out of your barracks, this COVID-19 thing. And he pulls something out of his pocket and basically does something, and he's no longer living there in the middle of the street, if you get me. I can't say it. He commits hara-kiri, basically. There's many versions of this that you could hear. Some people say it was a cover-up because of the US military, and really, they've got to be covering something up, I believe, because how do they not know what happened to her? She was obviously killed in the armory, right? And put into that box. So why was there no CCTV from the armory? And why? It's just very strange. And her sister is still rallying. I shall link the Instagram page down below, and I shall link, they've got a Just Giving page as well. So I shall try and find that and link that down below as well. It is sad that somebody's lost their life, and it happens in the military quite a lot, in the US military. Not so sure in the UK military. I'll have to do some research on that. We don't hear about it that often. We tend to hear more about what happens in the US than the UK these days, and it is that it's just sad. But yes, do not think that I am not for the military. I am. I've had family members in the military. I do stand by them, and don't think that I'm saying that women are the only ones that get abused in the military, because they are not. Men can get abused too. Yes, I know. Shocker. Welcome to the 21st century if you are some of those people that think that it's only women that can get abused. It isn't. Do your research. Obviously, if you're going to comment down below, comment nice things only. This is a very recent death, so we don't need people being negative. Obviously Erin's not with us anymore. Part of me wants to part of me wishes that he was, so he could stand trial for the thing that he did to this young woman and tell us actually what did happen. because all we know is that she was obviously murdered. And Erin and Cicely, who is in jail by the way, this Cicely girl, and she is going down basically averting the course of justice. Averting the course of justice, that's what she's going for. And probably being an accessory to murder as well, because she helped him to hide it. Who does that? Well, mind you, I don't know, it depends how scared you are. But now something's being covered up. It is probably an ongoing investigation still. And everybody send all your love to Vanessa's family, because you can't imagine losing somebody, never mind somebody that young, who had so much ambition and stuff in their life. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for this week, guys. If you like this video, click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I was gonna say that. Don't forget to subscribe so you can give an alligator its wings. I've been watching too much Graveyard Girl. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to be kind to each other. There's too much hate in this world already, as you can see. Stay humble, guys. Bye.